What is going on, everyone? Alex Schlinsky here for the Anti-Hustlers Weekly Show. Today, we're going to be talking about the end of year sales blitz, helping you make new deals before January 2024. This is the show for you if you want to make more money. We're really excited to be here today. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Brian Downard. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, living the dream. I wish we had
Hey-o.
some more time for some pre-show banter, but it's okay. I'll rant later.
Yeah, we can rant later. There's plenty of rant time. Guys, if you are watching this, that means you're either here live on our Facebook group, the Seven Figure Sales Savages, or you're inside of our Zoom call, or you're watching on a replay on YouTube or your favorite podcast apps. Either way, we appreciate you. However you're coming on, we do this show every single Thursday at 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We have missed only 1 week this whole year, and that was Thanksgiving, which I feel like is totally fair to do it. But maybe next year we'll do like a live stream while we're eating turkey or something. I don't know. Figure it out. Happy holidays to all of you. Hope you have a wonderful time with friends and family. And for those of you that don't have friends and family to celebrate with, hope that you are finding love elsewhere. And if you need some love, just know we all love you. So that's all good there. If you are watching this because you came from us from our Facebook group, if you can just drop like a 7 in the chat so we know, that would be really helpful and help us a ton. Again, if you are watching on Facebook, hitting that like or love button makes a massive difference. So we appreciate it. Brian, let's talk about making money. Do you want to talk about making money? You down for that?
I love 2 things: making money and making money.
I feel like
let's get into it,
the
man.
same thing. I feel like kind of.
I know. I'm just bullshitting because I didn't get to rant earlier at the beginning of the show, so I have to get it all out right now. But yeah, we put together a couple of really amazing resources for our clients. One specifically we called the end of year sales blitz, and then last night did kind of a goofy version, almost an add-on to that. And don't quote me, I think it was Q4 sales slump buster, because Q4 for a lot of agencies and businesses tends to slow down, whether that is their audience just taking the foot off the brake as it's the holidays, or just the seasonality of the industry that they're in. So with that consideration, still not too late. There's a lot of time left in the year. I literally just hopped out of Slack, where we have a lot of our clients in there. Saw at least 3 wins, people who are closing, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 deals today, and yesterday. And this is happening right now. So there are opportunities in sales to be made. You guys just got to make sure, if you are feeling that struggle of hey, Q4 was slow, I'm not making as much cash as I want at the end of the year, this is how you can step up and do some of that. We're going to give you the tools. So Alex, I will turn it over to you, because the first half is your baby, second half is mine, and we'll break it all down for them.
Is there first start I just want to talk about is just the mindset, sales mindset that's required for success. Look, it's December 7th, right? And the majority of, the United States is very focused on, the Christmas holiday, right? Me as a Jew, I'm celebrating Hanukkah. So any Hanukkah fans out there, happy Hanukkah to all of you.
Shalom.
Yeah, that's not what it is, but that's cool. We'll take it. It's cool. Awesome. Here's the thing, right? There's a concept of numbers of days till Christmas. You see that in a bunch of stores, and online, and people celebrating it at all times, right? It's a constant theme that you see consistently. And what ends up happening is there ends up being a lot of people taking their foot off the gas. So the mindset that you're going to have in order for this to be successful and actually to make money before the end of the year is to be zigging when everyone else is zagging. I want you to think about it kind of like a market share, right? If you work in the med spa industry, right? And you would assume, again, totally making this numbers up, but you would assume, let's say there's 200 agencies that are in the med spa space, and they all have a differing number of the pie, right? The market share. Let's say your market share is very, very, very tiny. It's 2%, right? But if 50% of your competition is not aggressively trying to acquire clients this current part of the year, that means you have a huge additional opportunity for more market share that you would never have at any other point in the year. So when everyone else is zigging, you are zagging, right? The other considerations you want to have is how to handle the holiday objection, which we did in a previous video. Just a couple quick reminders on that. Number one, you want to give them a head start going into the new year, right? Because of the simple idea of momentum, right? Everyone that's waiting to start until the beginning of January probably won't have momentum until the end of January. Anyone that's starting in December will have a lot of momentum and a running head start moving into January, right? There's a concept of also maximizing the December sales. So consider this: if a med spa is giving you an objection of we want to start the new year, but then you say, well, there still is opportunity for med spa sales in December, especially with, gift cards and coupons and people taking their parents or friends out to do dates, facial dates and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Database reactivation during the holidays would be a big one, going back to past customers, easy low hanging fruit for them.
if you want to help them maximize December sales, you have to also frame for them the same zig when zagging mindset, because there's a lot of opportunity. The other consideration would be tax savings, right? So federally, depending on your tax bracket, could be like 12 to 20% or so, somewhere around that number. And also based off of where you live in the United States, if you live in California, it might be an additional 10 or 12%. But if you live in Florida, there's no state tax, which is why Florida is great. It also doesn't have to be an all or nothing approach like Brian was just referencing. Like maybe your package normally is like, we do calling for you and we do the ads for you and we do DVR. Maybe in this scenario, just to start, you're just doing DVR, right? Anything to get the foot in the door in December gives you a massive advantage moving into January. So I just wanted to start with kind of the sales mindset before we actually dove into any of the exact training today. Brian, is there anything else you wanted to add on to that? And if not, you can move into kind of your first initial thoughts on what they should all be doing.
Sure. So that was a great opening for sure. I have the Sales Blitz SOP open. I'm happy just to share this with you guys here. I don't think we're going to share the SOP link, but feel free to, as we're going through, pause this, do whatever you got to do to check this out. So I'm going to actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to move. All right, so some of these ideas like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we're going to be past, but we are talking about how can you make a sales blitz, right? Just a fun, quirky phrase for, hey, how are we going to go find our lowest hanging fruit, best opportunities? Some of these things we've already coached on. Ways you can do this. We typically don't coach on discounting, but there's some ways we can leverage this if cash flow is a challenge. But we typically like to coach adding value, right? So the easiest example of this is giving something additional too. So maybe you charge $3,000 for database reactivation. Maybe they get that for free when they sign up for a 3-month, 6-month package, or maybe you do a VIP day for them when they pay in full for 3 months versus the alternative of discounting. But there's something to be said and valid for discounting when necessary just to get that foot in the door. But outside of that, I'm going to just kind of skip to the tangible examples of how you can do this. And I'm going to skip right here to something we call RGY calls. If you have been following us for a long period of time, you've likely heard this phrase thrown around, but this is truly one of the quickest ways to go find and create revenue opportunities. Why? Because getting money from people who have already given you money is the easiest place to find more money, or a referral from that person because they like you, trust you, and want someone else to get that benefit. They transfer that trust. You just need to ask. Alex loves to say, a squeaky wheel gets oil, meaning you have to ask or you're never going to receive. So what the RGY call is, it's a acronym for red, green, yellow. Don't kill us. I know it's not in the right order, but what we use it as is to measure how satisfied a client is with our service. So at any given time in our client tracking tool, we know which clients are red, which are green, and which are yellow. And then based on that, they get certain levels of attention or fall into certain operating procedures to get them back into good standing, right? So green, they're good standing, they're happy, they're going to continue. Yellow is on the fence, like maybe 1 foot out the door. Red is probably most likely going to cancel. What can we do to salvage this, if anything? And what you want to do, of course, with the red and yellow clients is get to a place where you can salvage them if it makes sense to do that. Part of that might be making them a year-end limited time offer, right? Part of the workshop we did last night was if you have a client who you feel like is 1 foot out the door or they just recently churned, you can be preemptive with this and make them an offer. Maybe it's get 3 months for the price of 2. Maybe it's, again, adding some additional value. Some of our clients have swapped out services because the client has their trust, but Facebook ads wasn't working. So, hey, let's test out Google ads. I think we can get better results there for a little bit of a discount to get that bridge of like, hey, like, let us earn back this trust and show you we can do this. This can salvage and retain clients into the new year. But when we get to the green clients, this is where the magic can happen, because not only is it an amazing place to source testimonials, but now there's an opportunity for upsells to give them additional value and increase the lifetime value of that client and get referrals from them by asking. So it's a great time to, once they've acknowledged and reciprocated that value of, hey, we like working with you, it's been great, you've got us good results. Cool. Do you happen to know anyone else who might benefit from this service as well? Would you be open to introducing us? So this is maybe for some of you sounds like, oh, but this is back to basics, asking for referrals from clients. Yes, but doing it through this lens at the right time and getting them to acknowledge the value. And then this is truly, again, if we're talking about what is the sales blitz, this is what sometimes people ignore, but there's money right under your nose if you do this very simple thing. So I'll stop there. Alex, anything you want to add?
No, that was fire. Honestly, like usually I have a lot of things to say, but I don't have any. That was great.
Cool. I'm on it. Very lucid today. All right. Just kidding. You want to take the next one?
Yeah,
this is a good one
absolutely.
for you.
So,
This is all about following up with past opportunities.
yeah, absolutely. So the concept in sales is remembering that ultimately, like the money is in the follow-up, right? The money is in the follow-up. It's really important to remember this because at the end of the day, like everyone wants to close deals faster, right? So we'll stop sharing so I can make this point super
Sure, I was going to do that.
to it. It's like when I teach the one call close, you know, my intention is not that you have some magic fairy dust or some like manipulation tactic to automatically get someone to pay you like on the first call. Obviously, that's what everyone wants. But in terms of like an expected percentage, I don't think it's reasonable to expect that more than like 20% at the best case scenario is going to pay you for a high ticket program on the first call, right? Like a lot of people are going to need to have follow-up conversations, right? The point of the one call close is the opportunity to do a qualifying conversation and a demo in the same call, just so we don't break up that process and then they don't show up for the demo, which made the qualifying call null and void in the first place, right? Thus, that being said, how important it is in terms of your sales system as a whole to ensure that you're able to shrink the amount of time that it takes them to be a prospect, to be a client. Now, in terms of shrinking it, there's a lot of things we've talked about on our sales coaching prior that we'll do again, obviously, in coming weeks. But in general, when it comes down to the end of your sales blitz, if you look back at the last 6 months of sales that you have had, right? Sales calls that you've had, I'm certain, right, that there's a lot of people that said certain things that they wanted to do, and either they ghosted you or they said, no, not right now, or they said, follow up with me later, or whatever it may be, but you have some sort of intel. And this is really important. The intel that you have is based off of what I've coached before on the 4 Ws, right? You are here, you want to go here, the obstacle is this, and the urgency is this. Any information you have allows you to succeed with it. Let's take Andrew as an example, making this up completely. If I spoke to Andrew 6 months ago and he was currently at $5,000 per month in his agency, and he wanted to get to $70,000 a month in his agency, a very huge jump, right? And I made him an offer to work with us in POD, which is a $3,000 a month program. And he said, well, $5,000, I just don't have the money in the wiggle room right now to invest into POD, right? 3 months later, I follow him and say, hey, it's been 90 days. Where are you at? And in 90 days, he's now at 7,500. So still basically 10 times under what his goal was. Well, 6 months later, we follow up and guess what? He's at 8,000. It has been a challenge. He's been struggling. Well, now what happens is you have so much more leverage because of that 6-month period that has passed in which the person that had a very specific goal has not achieved it or made significant progress to it in that timeline. And here's the craziest part that I'm going to share. It's very important. When people talk to you on a call, when they share a goal with you on a call, the large majority of people that share goals with you on a call, they are completely arbitrary and not real. Meaning, if they were to have calls with an agency owner in corresponding months, okay, let's say every other week for 6 weeks, right? It is completely feasible that in the 3 to 4 calls that they end up doing, they have a different goal every single time because really their mindset of goal is more. Right? We actually did this in deep detail in our last conversation, which is like most people just want more of everything. It's not like a very specific thing. It's not like Brian's like, I want to make this exact number. It's just, I want to make more. And so when that happens, there's not a very clear and tangible thing that we can use to leverage to get a sale across the board. But when you push on that and they're like, well, I really want to get to 25K. And then 6 months later, they're still stuck at 10,000. You have way more leverage to be like, look, let's not move into the new year and wait another 6 months for you to be in the same spot. 6 months ago, maybe it wasn't the right time, but now we have 6 months of data proving that we have not been able to make enough progress. And in that time, I've worked with X, Y, and Z who was in the exact same spot. And guess where they're at? The goal that you wanted. Give me this shot. Let us help you. It's going to make a difference. That model is very impactful and works very well. All that's required is what? You doing the work. And so before we move on, Brian, and going to the next thing, I really want to say this carefully. Listen to this, please. If you come on these calls and you listen to the effort that Brian and I put into this training, and you actually care about your time, you actually want to achieve your goals, then do something about it. Don't just sit there and say, I'm going to listen to this and money is going to fall from the sky. Not going to happen. You got to do the work. Otherwise, what is the purpose of being here? The things that we're talking about actually will make you money, 100%, but you got to do it. you don't do it, nothing's going to happen. That's my spiel.
Cool. Love it. Yeah. And I would say, like, a lot of you maybe, and I was in your position, so I don't want to sound like I'm being hypocritical. We've grown past this now, but in my past, I would be afraid to like have a conversation with a client because that would bring up the fact that they're paying me and then they might be considering like firing me. But if we're like hiding from clients like that, we're not going to grow the kind of type of business and create the kind of income you guys want and I know want to achieve. You have to have the hard conversations and get the hard feedback and frankly do the hard work. So I'm feeling very generous today. It's the holidays. I'm going to do something we rarely do on these calls, but I'm going to share with you guys just a snippet of a worksheet we just launched last night in our Scale 7 workshop, mostly because I want to, have fun with this stupid joke at the beginning. I gotta stop teeing it up because it's a terrible joke.
That ruins the joke, man. You did that last night too.
More importantly, I'm just going to do it. Just going to do it. It's not that great of a joke. It was an inside joke with a client. Now it's getting drawn out. Regardless, the more important piece of it I want to show you specifically is some of the prompts that we gave our clients last night. And I want you all to have them because it will make this easier for you to digest of how do I do this? What does this look like in practicality to make a sales blitz to my lowest hanging fruit and opportunities? We talked about a couple of them already, working through your current client list through that RGY framework, and then following up with past leads. Now I want you guys to kind of how we can put this into implementation. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So in honor of the sales slump buster, I have a picture of a bust because that's apparently the only good picture I could find online. So terrible dad joke. I'm going to move past it. More importantly,
so funny. I'm dying of laughter.
Thank you. It was great. It was great. I know. A drum roll, please. So the more important part, guys, here are these prompts. I'm not going to keep this up for too long. You guys are welcome to screenshot it, take this, run with it. What I want to focus in on is these three in the middle. The other prompts are helpful, like, hey, what special offers have you made this year that have possibly worked for you? This is called the love it or leave it offer framework. We can talk about that in just a minute. Some of these other final prompts here at the end, can be helpful as well. But I'm really wanting you all to really focus your energy and attention on these three, right? So what is a limited time offer that we can make to recently churned clients or past clients, right? This could be, as examples, a new service, maybe something different that could work for them, database reactivation. If any of you have seen Zappy Chat and the amazing new ways you can use AI to very easily nurture clients' leads. It's pretty seamless and pretty easy to fulfill, and you could charge a high price for it, or just frankly giving them a lower price that is still profitable for you. Don't go in the negative to fulfill the service, but at least to get that bridge back, to earn the business back and show them that you can make this work. Again, this could be something you can preemptively do with clients are potentially going to churn. But these are some good considerations for, like, what is a limited time offer you can make to recently churned or past clients? And again, I might even consider making an offer to these people, like 3 months of service for the price of 2, allowing them to start in the new year if they pay at least a deposit or something right now. These are in one box, like, what is a limited time offer for for that group of people specifically that we have. In terms of limited time offers for now your lead lists, this could be potentially the same. I would argue that some of your hotter leads or on the fence leads, you might want to make, a love it or leave it offer framework, which what we've coached is, if you were going to charge, let's say, $2,000 a month with a 6-month minimum commitment, a love it or leave it offer could be like, hey, why don't instead you pay $1,800 a month for 3 months? And if you love it, cool. At the end of it, we're going to move you to the normal rate. Or if you hate it, if it's not for you, we can just part ways and I'll give you a 3-month out clause. So that is something, again, you could do. Again, the idea of 3 months for the price of 2 is something you could play with here as well. But these are lists I want you to consider reaching out to. I'm going to actually pull up my notes from last night as well, because I think they're going to be really relevant for everyone here. Just to give you a couple more ideas to get these thoughts flowing, right? So more specifically on the execution of how you do this, right? I want you to, for anyone who's a current client, going to churn client, past client, recently churned, or on the fence, like your hot leads, your best, most lowest hanging fruit leads, These all require phone calls. Do not hide behind emails and texts. Please call them, double dial, call them the next day, call them next week. It's not Christmas yet. You can still call them. Please be aggressive here. But in terms of your larger lead lists, I would still argue, depending on how urgent your needs are to make money, call them as well. But your more stale, warm lead list have kind of opted in throughout the year, they can, an email and text can suffice. And if you're running ads successfully now, you can potentially run whatever offer you decide on through an ad as well. But a couple of ideas, again, that I wanted you to consider, specifically these ones I have highlighted here. How can we go back to our leads who are kind of on the fence? What type of either year-end content could you do? Maybe invite them exactly like we're doing right now to a training. It's a specific time. You invite a small group of people. I frankly don't care if one person shows up. It's just the fact that you want people to raise their hand and show their interest. So that's your talking point and your talking token to get your foot in the door, so you can send them the replay if they can't make it there live. Or some kind of high touch lead magnet. Again, I'm thinking in consideration of your lead lists, not past current clients. So a high touch lead magnet could be something like a free report card where there's any number of websites who can churn out high quality reports that you can share with someone. Around Zappy Chat, again, they have a really cool demo builder where you could just plug in a website and a name and it builds a demo of a chatbot in like 10 seconds. You could give that away as like, hey, would you be open to if I built you a free demo of an AI chatbot for your business? That's a super high value in the perception of what it is of a give to your leads that, again, gets your foot in the door and isn't a big commitment on the back end for you, or just offering them to give them a free training one-on-one to do or solve a specific thing. So again, where can you possibly give a little more time and high value to the leads as a prospecting offer, if you will, to get their interest that you wouldn't normally do throughout the year? These are some considerations as you are making your sales blitz for the year. So hopefully this was helpful. You guys got some good ideas rolling, but like Alex said, the most important thing is you got to execute it. We gave you a number of good ideas. I would, again, start with current happy clients. It's going to be the best place. And then you can kind of go down the list from there, but take this, run with it. December's a long month. My wife gave me a hard time today. I was like, it's like halfway through December. She's like, Brian, relax. It's not even like barely a weekend. It's fine. So I like that mindset. A lot of time left. Go make it happen.
There's nothing else to add, man. That was fire. Guys,
Cool.
If you are watching this and enjoyed it, please let us know by liking or loving or sending a comment. And if you hated it, also tell us, because it helps us either way. And, we have pretend thick skin. I really don't have any thick skin at all. Honestly, it will make me cry, but look,
I'm indifferent.
Like, we'll do it. Like, whatever. It's all good. That being said, we all appreciate you. We're grateful for you and you hope you enjoyed it.